Hey guys, this is Mel, and I am so sorry for the wait, but here it is. It's finally here, and with probably less than 2 weeks until the premiere, but I did it. So here it goes. Here is the Season 7 spoilers brought to you by the Comic-Con 2015 down in San Diego for The Vampire Diaries. The actual full panel occurred on Sunday, July 12th. And it had Ian Somerhalder, aka Damon, Paul Wesley, aka Stefan, Kat Graham, aka Bonnie, Candice Accola, aka Caroline, Michael Malarkey, aka Enzo, and executive producers Caroline Dries and creator Julie Plec. And they all come for Hall H. So let's get started. Any spoilers that I talk about in this video at first will be all from Comic-Con related things, so that's either going to be the official panel, the CW Q&A videos that they posted on their YouTube channel that took place at Comic-Con, or an interview done by TV Line, another YouTube channel, and possibly another from the TV Guide magazine little interview they had on their yacht. So all the links for any of those source informations will be down in the description box below, but I'm only gonna whiz by any of the things that have to do with Season 7. But if you want to know what happened completely with the panel, whether they talk about their characters in Season 6 or any other questions they asked that aren't related to Season 7, check out the link below for the panel. It's a great watch. It's definitely entertaining with all their jokes and stuff. But I will say this, my favorite joke has to be at the very beginning, made by Paul, and he jokes about Jensen and Jared from Supernatural, which the panel was to happen in Hall H after the Vampire Diaries panel. But it's at the very beginning of the video, so just watch it. It's just, as a Supernatural fan, it was great to see that little plug-in of Jensen and Jared. So anyways, let's get to the actual panel itself. I'm going to try to talk about all this within 15 minutes. So let's start the timer, see if I can do it. And let's start. So they brought up the sleeping curse that was put on Elena and basically links her to Bonnie. So if Bonnie's awake, then Elena's asleep. And then the moment Bonnie dies, that's when Elena is to be reawakened again. So basically, what does that mean for everyone, especially for Damon? And Ian basically jokes that it's just Elena taking a nap, but it's definitely going to expose Damon without Elena, and it's definitely going to show the dynamic between Damon and Bonnie because of the little wedge between them. Now, not only in the finale did we see a great moment for their friendship when Damon chose to keep Bonnie alive instead of killing her so that he can get Elena back, but Season 6 has been a great progression for Damon and Bonnie for the friendship after having so long having this love-hate relationship thing going on between them before then, but being trapped in the prison world together for assuming it's 4 months, I think, and then having it all boil down to that final moment when Damon had to decide who he was going to pick, keeping Bonnie alive or having her die so he can get Elena back. So it was great to see that unfold, but because of that decision, we're going to see how it's going to change the dynamic between the two of them. So that's going to be interesting to see. And they tease the fact that with Damon now pining away for his comatose girlfriend, we're definitely going to see a different side of Damon. Apparently, we're going to see the old Damon from Season 1, because that was the Damon we first met when he was pining after Catherine after 145 years. But now that Damon technically has Elena, he's again left without her because of this sleeping curse. So we're back to seeing that kind of Damon, but in a way it's going to be a slightly different Damon, because this Damon is going to know what it feels like to actually have Elena choose him instead of the Damon who was pining after Catherine trying to get her out. So we're going to see, I guess, the old Damon again, suffice to say. And then they talked about Sterile, that is the Steph and Caroline ship. And Julie Plec says that there will be a lot of unexpected twists and turns since they are just starting their new romantic status, I guess you can say. But Caroline is going to be trying really hard not to be ready for Stefan, who declared in the finale that he is going to wait for her to be ready. So he's not going anywhere in regards to her. And in regards to Enzo and Lily, Michael Malarkey said that Enzo is going to have to, he's going to have to basically choose where his allegiances lie. Is it going to be Lily and the Heretics, or is it going to be Damon, or is it even going to be Caroline, who I guess would be anti-heretic? So for Enzo, he's definitely going to have to pick between the two sides. So it would be interesting to see what he picks, because for all intents and purposes, both versions did abandon him when they needed him most. Lily abandoned Enzo when he just got turned into a vampire, and then Damon abandoned Enzo when he escaped from Augustine. So it could be some resentment there, but who knows. And then when it comes to the Heretics, they are definitely going to surpass Kai when it comes to being the best villain on the show. And I actually do have to kind of agree with Kai being the best villain, because every previous villain that we had, they only became villains, so to speak, after they were turned into immortals. Because, like, we saw with Catherine, she was very sweet and innocent, like, human. Once she turned into a vampire, that's when she got a little twisted into being a villain. Same with Klaus. He was a victim of abuse from Michael, and he only turned into a villain after what his parents did to him after he was turned into a vampire, and having the whole truth about him come out. And then with Silas, his villainous stature or reputation came after Katsuya betrayed him and took away Amara from him after he had turned into an immortal. So a lot of the previous villains that we saw only became villainous after they had turned immortal, and after having all that time twist them into something ugly. And then same with the Travelers. While human, they were led by a being that was killed, who had their soul being twisted by the darkness that resided on the other side. So for Kai, I guess he could be deemed as the best villain because of the fact that all of his villain qualities came from the fact that he was still a human, came from the fact that he was bringing out the very darkest parts of humanity within him while still being immortal. A mortal, not immortal. A mortal, a human being. And the fact that he didn't age was because of a magical circumstance for prison. So the fact that we are going to see these heretics being a lot more evil than Kai is going to be interesting to see just how. So, which would make sense, because they would have like the capabilities of a witch, but also having the vindictiveness that could come from being a vampire and being immortal, like I just said. So we're going to see how them coming into power is going to result in everybody in town, and we're going to see just how them being in power is going to put them and the town into that rundown, polluted, and basically abandoned place that we saw at the very end of the finale. And we're definitely going to see or get introduced to many different heretics. Julie Plec did mention 3 girls: Valerie, Nora, and Mary Louise. There are a few more, but in the panel alone, she only mentioned those 3. And Nora and Mary Louise are actually a couple who have been together for a very long time, but they're finally going to be able to come into a world where, in that day and age, it's okay for them to be together. So that's going to be a new experience for them. And then you get into fan questions for that panel. I won't go into those because they're not really season 7 related. But let's get into CW Q&A questions. Apparently, what is one word to describe the premiere? And you have, it's going to be bananas, unpredictable, sexy, dark, edgy, and dangerous. How would Damon cope with Lost Valena? Lots of bourbon. How have the characters changed in the time between season 6 and season 7? I'm pretty sure there's a time jump, but I'm not sure how much of a time jump. But Michael Malarkey says that in that space of time, he's found his place with Lily and the Heretics. So maybe after seeing something after that time jump, it will have him questioning his allegiance. Who knows? Apparently, though, Mike Malarkey is going to show his musical talents on this show. So it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate that into Enzo's past. About the friendship between Damon and Bonnie, it will evolve for sure, possibly into besties, considering now their best friend is in a coma. But on a subconscious level, they are both going to resent one another because of the fact that Elena is a coma due to their situation, or more so resentment on Damon's side towards Bonnie because of that fact. There was this funny question about Caroline's growth on the show, and Candace says there's going to be a significant amount, both spiritually and physically, but the way, and it's going to be a whole new Caroline, but the way it was worded, it kind of seemed like a joke. But then at the end of August, I believe August 31st, a month after this whole interview was taking place, it was revealed that Candace Accola was indeed pregnant. So the whole joke kind of touched on the fact that Caroline will be expanding and stuff like that. So with the news, though, it definitely means that we're going to see either less of Candace as Caroline, or we're going to see Caroline in some really different positions that is going to hide the baby bump. Because for one thing for sure, so happy for Candace and her new husband and her family about the upcoming arrival, but I do not want to see Caroline pregnant on the show. We do not need another vampire baby. I mean, they were able to explain how it was possible back over on the originals with Baby Hope, but with Caroline, there's just no way they can have her have a vampire pregnancy without going back to the fact that if it was possible, then why in the world did Elena have to become human in order to get the baby she wanted, or the baby in the possible future she wanted? Just like, to me, if they made a vampire baby possible with Caroline, then it's just gonna undermine everything that Elena argued for why she wanted to be human again. So there's that. Any exciting new guests in season 7? A lot of them will have to be with the heretics that came with Lily. 5 of them out of the 6 will be introduced in the premiere, but it will be interesting to see all those heretics, see what they have to offer, see where their mindset is at. But also, I do want to know if there's going to be a clarification on the fact that Lily is just a vampire who sired the heretic vampires, or if she does actually have some witch ability to her. Because if that's the case, then that's got to explain why Stefan and Damon aren't heretics then. I don't know, but I truly think that Lily is just a vampire, but it would be great to have that clarification. So, onto the TV line interview. Let's see. Will season 7 be like a 2.0 version of the show? Caroline Dries says the show is still grounded in the Stefan, Damon, Elena romance, aka the gothic epic love story, despite Elena not being present. Don't know how they're going to have that romance, considering there isn't really a love triangle anymore. But Elena's still present in the story, even though, because she's not technically dead, she's still talked about, she's still incorporated somehow. And characters are definitely not over what had happened to Elena, although there's jokes about Enzo not even caring. Kat Graham mentioned that Damon and Bonnie would have to work through this predicament with Elena, especially with the resentment they both have on each other. Paul Wesley jokes about how Stefan is more focused on Caroline than Elena. But they do agree that Lily Salvatore will be shown for quite a bit in the first part of the season. I guess because she's the leader of the heretics, but just how powerful is she if she's just only a vampire? Bonnie is definitely back in the premiere. She has her powers back, and Kat Graham mentioned that she has a different mentality going forward, all basically because of her time spent in the prison world, both with Damon and by herself. And then she's definitely gonna have to make some decisions that she may not have chosen to make beforehand. Bonnie's gonna have her own love interest, and it's not gonna be Damon. So that'll be interesting to see. And since Jeremy's not on the show anymore, it won't be him either. So Damon is still madly in love with Elena despite the fact that she's in a coma. So And then Enzo, again, his allegiance is going to be questioned. Stefan and Caroline are going to have to work through what their relationship is. While Stefan waits for Caroline, Caroline's going to try to delay the inevitable, I guess you could say. There is a question, what is going on with Matt Donovan? Because in the flash forward that we got to see at the end, he is a cop, and his allegiance is to Team Human. He is more anti-vampire than ever, they say. And even though Matt does lean on Caroline and Bonnie. And they say that he's going to get a love interest. So that'll be interesting. But what was kind of disappointing is that even though they talked about Matt Donovan, they did not mention Alark. They did not mention anything about Tyler or Jeremy, even though Michael Trevino and Stephen McQueen aren't on the show anymore. It still doesn't mention what their characters are, or like what they're up to. I feel like they at least have to put that in some way, because for sure we know that Elena's in a coma. So there's that. And I guess that's it for the interview. So one thing is definitely for sure, we have to figure out how much time has passed since the finale. And for me, I think at most it may be a year or two, but I'm definitely thinking that it's gonna pick off. I don't think it's just gonna be like the summer and then that's it, but I think since Bonnie is still in school, it might be taking place when she's done with school, or when she's in her final year of school, or maybe like that, because I think they might want to try to get rid of the whole school aspect of the show. But there's that. So let's see what else. Okay, the sizzle trailer that they released at the Comic-Con panel, since they did not start filming for season 7 at that time. They released a trailer that basically was a recap of all 6 seasons of the show with different categories, and that were all edited really well together. Brought in with a little commentary by Kai himself, which was very disruptive yet entertaining. So the first section dealt with all the romance on the show, and then it got cut off by Kai complaining about it, and he brought the reel to focus on the villains of the show, which he then was congratulatory towards it at the very end. And then the third section was basically a spoof recreation of the Damon and Elena rain kiss, and the spoof was on the fact that it was Damon and Kai. So that was pretty funny. And that is all for the Comic-Con 2015 spoilers for season 7. So since it is almost October when I'm recording this, so sorry about that, but there has been stuff about the season 7 premiere that has been released, like the synopsis for the episode. Some episode stills have been released. The actual promo for the premiere has been released, where we actually get to see firsthand what the heretics look like, just how this rest of the characters are coping with this new situation. And we do see Damon waking up in a coffin, so it's safe to say that he might have tried to desiccate himself, so it'd be easier for him to wait out the 60 years for Elena. But I think he was waking up because of the fact that Lily and her heretics have gone too far in Mystic Falls. But that's just my guess. But if you want any of that stuff, synopsis, episode stills, any spoilers, any premieres, check out my Tumblr page. I'll link it down in the description box below. But I do have a master tag list that's fully dedicated to anything Vampire Diaries or anything related to the originals, all on the same page. You can check out the specific episodes you want. You can check out just the promos, or just basically check out anything you want that has to do with the pairings, or within the Vampire Diaries, within the originals even. That whole, basically what I'm saying, that whole master tag list has anything to do with that universe of a TV show. So check it out. I'll link it down below in case you want to check out more. I will, when it starts up, when the season starts up, I'll definitely be regularly reblogging any GIFs that come up, reblogging any spoilers, and if I come across my own spoilers through articles, or if I see synopses that have not been posted yet, I'll definitely post those up to keep you guys informed. So just check out my Tumblr page, and if you're interested in any other shows that I keep track of, all the links are on there as well, but definitely check it out. I really appreciate it if you do. But I'm gonna go before I start rambling. But you know the drill. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you like just what I have to offer, subscribe to this channel and wait for my next video to pop up. We're definitely getting closer to the premiere, so it should be more regular, my postings. If you want to share this with your other friends within the fandom, then please share this. If you want, leave a comment below about your own thoughts about the season 7 spoilers, what you predict yourself about the season, what you hope to see, whether it's pairing wise, character setups and stuff like that. I'd be great to hear them. And if you have more spoiler stuff that you want me to reblog per se on Tumblr, then let me know and I'll try to find it and basically provide an easy way for you to get it. So I'm gonna stop now before my voice completely cracks. So I guess hope you guys tune in 2 weeks. Bye for now.